This is War Mind, and what you're about to hear might change how you see everything. What if the next dominant military force in the Middle East isn't Iran, isn't Israel, and certainly isn't one of the wealthy Gulf states, but Egypt? The nation you think of for pyramids, the Suez Canal, and chaotic Cairo traffic is quietly becoming the most dangerous military power in North Africa. Forget the outdated image of a bloated, stagnant army. Egypt is no longer waiting in the shadows. It's moving fast, silent, and with deadly intent. For decades, Egypt was a regional spectator. After Nasser's golden era of influence, the country suffered defeat, economic collapse, and dependency especially on U.S. military aid. Its army became less a war machine and more a bureaucratic empire in uniform. But then came Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Love him or fear him, one thing is undeniable. Sisi has made the rebirth of Egypt's military his mission. Since 2014, he's poured billions into modernization, reshaped defense doctrine, and broken free from reliance on any single arms supplier. Egypt is no longer begging for weapons. It's shopping like a superpower. French Rafale fighter jets scream across its skies. German-built submarines glide beneath the Mediterranean. Russian S-300 defense systems lock onto targets with cold precision. Chinese drones hover like silent assassins. And American F-16s still form the backbone of its air power. This isn't just a collection of weapons. It's a strategy. Diversify, dominate, and project. Subscribe to War Mind and never look at war the same way again. Egypt's military is no longer just about defense. It's about power projection. Its navy now commands Mistral-class amphibious assault ships, floating fortresses capable of launching helicopters, tanks, and entire battalions onto hostile shores. With coastlines on the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, Egypt can strike or deter from two oceans. And it's not just hardware. Egypt is training like never before. Joint exercises with Russia, France, the UAE, Greece, Cyprus, and Sudan are sharpening its edge. From desert warfare to naval blockades, its forces are gaining real-world operational experience. Even its industry is transforming. Tanks, armored vehicles, small arms now being built at home. Less dependence, more control. This is no longer the Soviet-style army of the 1970s. This is a hybrid war machine, part Western precision, part Eastern resilience, all Egyptian ambition. And it's not building this force for show. Libya is burning, a civil war-turned proxy conflict, with Turkey on one side and regional powers on the other. Egypt drew a red line at the city of Sirte. Cross it, and we strike. Troops mobilized, jets on alert. The message was clear: Egypt will not be ignored. Then there's Ethiopia. The grand Ethiopian Renaissance dam is rising, and with it, the threat of cutting Egypt's lifeline, the Nile. Diplomacy is the public face, but behind closed doors, military options are on the table. Water is life, and Egypt will fight for it. And in the Red Sea, chaos reigns. Houthi attacks, rising Iranian influence, global trade at risk. Egypt has responded, expanding naval patrols, securing the Suez, and asserting dominance over one of the world's most critical waterways. These aren't isolated moves. This is a grand strategy. Egypt is positioning itself as the regional power broker, not just a player, but the decisive force in North Africa and the Horn of Africa. And it's not doing it alone. The Gulf, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are funding this revival. Billions in aid, not just to stabilize Egypt's economy, but to turn it into a military counterweight against Iran, Turkey, and Islamist movements. The Gulf has the money. Egypt has the manpower, the location, and now the capability. It's a silent alliance. Gulf gold, Egyptian steel. But this comeback isn't without danger. Egypt's economy is teetering. Debt, inflation, and foreign dependency threaten long-term military spending. U.S. aid is under pressure due to human rights concerns. And integrating French jets, American helicopters, Russian missiles, and Chinese drones, that's not plug and play. It's a logistical nightmare waiting to explode. Still, the shift is real. While the world watched Iran's proxies, Turkey's ambitions, and Israel's tech, Egypt quietly rebooted its military, like upgrading from an old relic to a next-gen war system. Smooth, powerful, and just complex enough to keep its enemies guessing. This isn't the Egypt of Arab Spring chaos. This is a regime using military strength as diplomacy, as leverage, as power. In a region of fragile states and endless proxy wars, Egypt's return as a credible military force changes everything. It changes how Libya is negotiated. It changes how Nile water is shared. It changes how global powers from Washington to Moscow operate in Africa. Egypt isn't waiting to be invited to the table anymore. It's pulling up a chair, military budget in one hand, drone controller in the other. So when the next crisis hits, will Egypt be the peacemaker, the power broker, or the one with the biggest stick? One thing's certain. If you still see Egypt as just the land of pyramids, your geopolitical map is outdated, because the pharaohs are back. And this time, they've got submarines. Thanks for watching War Mind, where history isn't just told, it's felt.